Hello, and welcome to the Three Peaks podcast, where we take a break from the hike of life and appreciate the views. Today, we're joined by a special guest. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
So my name is Dahl, and I am a fractional CMO and marketing consultant. So my background is in marketing, and now I help various companies with their marketing initiatives and ensure that their businesses are firing on all cylinders and we're promoting it properly and getting the right opportunities for their companies.
Amazing. Awesome. Thanks so much for being on the podcast.
It's awesome to be here.
All right. And so to start off, you said you help companies market, correct?
Correct, yes. So oftentimes, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. What was one of your recent projects that you were able to help a company with marketing?
Yeah, great question. So I have a variety of clients, but one of the things that comes to mind is I have one particular client who has a client of their own where this particular business was trying to launch a new athletic wear company. And so I worked with them in putting together the formation of what a marketing strategy needed to look like as far as what we needed to do to, as an example, build their website, create an email campaign, start to do some events, build out their social influence, those types of things, to where they had a holistic view as to how they needed to market their particular product to the right target audience.
Awesome.
All right, so you're a marketer, and we were just wondering if we could ask you a couple questions about marketing.
Of course.
So there's marketing strategies, of course. What would you say are a couple marketing strategies that you use the most?
Yeah, so I think that there's so many different ways and methods of marketing, but I'll boil it down even more simplistically. So I'll take you back to when I started my first dedicated marketing job. I had this boss who was from Boston, and I remember him coming into my office for the first time. I'd never met him in person. I talked to him over the phone, but he came into my office and he was speaking a million miles an hour, and he had all this energy, and he went and he grabbed a marker to write on my whiteboard, and he wrote down 3 words on my whiteboard that I've never forgotten. And I think that it's safe to say that it's a perfect recipe for successful marketing. And the words were create, validate, and replicate. And so even if you go onto my website, you'll see those 3 words: create, validate, and replicate. And oftentimes within marketing, whether it's an email campaign, whether it's a social outreach, whether it's, even like print media, what you're trying to do is create something remarkable, but then you're trying to prove it or to validate it. And once you know that it's been validated or that it's been done properly, then you can replicate it into other channels. And so create, validate, and replicate is a very simplistic way to look at marketing and to understand what you need to do to be successful.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And obviously with marketing, you have to try to speak to someone to get them on board on a product you're trying to sell to them. So obviously reaching out to demographics, age groups, and certain races as well could be a difficult challenge. So how have you found a way to reach out to those target audiences?
Yeah, and this is actually going into an element of my job that I love because it's challenging. So what you're talking about, Ivan, is what we call the client persona. And so with a client persona, we have to understand who that person is. And so with my clients, I go through an exercise to try to define who their client persona is. And even though their clients may have various backgrounds and be different people, what we're looking at is for all of the overlaps where we can understand, okay, what's the common ground and how do we create messaging that is impactful for that individual? And so going back to what you said, they could be from all types of different backgrounds. They could be all types of different races, different beliefs, different income levels. But if we understand who we're trying to market to, then we can understand how to paint the picture and how to create a messaging that is going to appeal to them. And so what I say is we appeal to their pains and their gains, and we create some sort of an emotional attachment to the product or service that we're trying to market. But it all begins with understanding who they are, because if we craft this message that we think is fantastic, it may not resonate because that's a message that was created maybe for us, or a different type of a persona. But understanding the persona is critical, mission critical for successful marketing.